The Matrimonial Swindle, song by Mr. W. Randall, written by W. H. Cove. Coffee Break Collection 21. Fairy Tales, Tall Stories, and Scams. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. The Matrimonial Swindle. I've been dreadfully treated, most shamefully cheated, by one whom I thought would be mine for life. Lend your auriculars, hear the particulars, how I was swindled of money, and my wife. You must know I was single when thinking I'd mingle my own life with that of some pretty young miss. I'd just got £1,000, and a nice house and grounds, all to conduce to connubial bliss. I pondered without delay just to find out a way how I could just get a wife to my mind, when I fell quite promiscuous across a conspicuous advertisement of a peculiar kind. Matrimony 'twas headed, a lady unwedded, seeks for a husband whose virtue abounds, but his means must be such as hers, that is, as much as hers, namely a fortune of £1,000. You can't think how delighted I felt, as I plighted my troth to this lady fair in a neat note. She sent me her photograph, with her dear autograph, and made an appointment. How loving she wrote. I accordingly met her, as named in her letter. She leaned on the arm of a tall, dark young man, whom she said was her brother, a captain of Strother, and thus our platonic attachment begun. I fear you'd grow tired if I were required to state how this courtship progressed from this time. Suffice it to say that we made up our minds to be married without delay. Wasn't it prime? Her brother, the captain, declared he was wrapped in delight at the prospect. His joy knew no bounds, and one day exposed to me what he disclosed to be bonds of his sister's for £1,000. Quite carelessly then he said, "On the day when ye wed, I've to make a request, quite on brotherly grounds. It is that you give your wife, for her use all her life, a settlement down of, say, £1,000. I at first felt inclined to say, flat, I declined to pay any such sum. 'Twas exceeding all bounds. But he used such persuasion that I gave up evasion, and agreed that I'd give my wife £1,000. In a week I was married, my wife home had carried. When the captain requested I hand to my spouse the sum I'd agreed to pay down on our wedding day, I did so. I am always true to my vows. The brother smiles slightly, the bride she laughs lightly, as she picks up my cash and each sovereign sounds. And I really am vexed to say 'twas quite an ecstasy. I gave up the money, my £1,000. I suppose 'twas the hurry, the turmoil and flurry, that made me so anxious that night from my couch. Suffice it, I sought my bride, whom I missed from my side, where a moment before she was standing, I vouch. But lo, I was in the lurch, vain was my rigid search, high and low, in and out, both house and grounds. But alas, hope was banished off, too clear she vanished off, flitting away with my £1,000. My anger was kindled, I found I was swindled, and deep was the vengeance I vowed I would wreak. But I never, upon my life, once again saw my wife. She flew to America that very week. And as for her brother, he of course was no other than her lover. In faith, but they made a nice pair. So I still single tarry, because I can't marry, as I've one wife already, though goodness knows where. My wife having missile, 'twas plain I was chiseled, and yet the base swindle a moral implies. For though single I tarry, of course I can't marry. I found that experience makes a fool wise. So don't marry at random, but nil desperandum. If a man only tries, a good wife is soon found. Yet don't on your wedding day say you'll agree to pay down as a settlement £1,000. End of The Matrimonial Swindle.